The following is a public forum sponsored by the Cape Cod Interfaith Coalition, held October 22, 2013, at the Cape Cod Synagogue in Hyannis, Massachusetts. The Cape Cod Interfaith Coalition is a broad-based coalition of spiritual leaders on Cape Cod, founded to facilitate cordial and cooperative dialogue among the spiritual communities on Cape Cod. One of our mission elements is to educate the community by means of these nonpartisan forums on issues that trouble and divide us, and focus on tasks that unite us, thus improving public awareness of the moral and spiritual dimensions of the practical problems we face. At this forum, participants will draw upon their particular faith practices to offer reflections and solutions to the current crisis of national leadership, extreme partisanism, and political impasse, one result of which was the government shutdown in the fall of 2013. We will now join James Kirschner in his introduction to the program.
In our tradition, we like to remind ourselves to come right down and come into the present moment with the sound of a bell. Breathing in and breathing out. For the next minute or so, you don't have to worry about anything. Just sit and smile and breathe in and breathe out. That same air you're breathing, you're sharing with the people around you. Well, yes, when you think about it, all of us in this room are sharing the same air. What an intimate relationship. We are all one.
I volunteered to try to understand with you what's going wrong. Because when my wife and my father both, her father and mine, served our country in World War II. One trended left, one trended right. But at that time, we did politics, but we didn't do it tribally. We were not tribes. Something has happened to us, and people who are older are commenting on it now. It's never felt quite this bad before, and none of us are old enough to remember the American Civil War, but we do know how dark it can get. We are deeply wired for tribal. It's not good for us now. One of the things that we can learn is that, and this is an irony for people, if you have ever been in crisis, the strategy that got you through the crisis becomes itself the central pathology of your life when you apply it when the crisis is past. We now have a self-polarizing culture. But one thing I can tell you too, we cannot practice politics as a dark art and arrive in a bright place.
The sages say, it's written in the book of Deuteronomy, it's not in heaven, it's down here on earth. You know very well it's written in the Torah, follow the majority. And what I've been seeing in Washington is people who refuse to respect majority rule. That somehow, I'm going to call the heavens, I'm going to call the streams of water, I'm going to call the carob tree. I can keep fighting, it doesn't matter. We don't need the most extreme elements. It's something we can demand from our own politicians. Our elections are too precious to leave up to them. Why should we have somebody who has their own self-interest involved working the mechanisms of our democracy?
I'm going to give you a reading from Micah, chapter 4. The title of this section is The People to be Restored. He shall judge between many peoples and impose terms on strong and distant nations. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. One nation shall not raise the sword against another, nor shall they train for war again. Will you come and follow me if I but call your name? Will you go where you don't know and never be the same? Will you let my love be shown? Will you let my name be known? Will you let my life be grown in you and you in me?
The proposal that religion is the glue which holds society together is in no way new, but it has been forgotten. There is a profound spiritual illness gripping the nation, obstructing its progress toward the luminous destiny forecast for it by the Almighty. Baha'i teachings express that religion is a living, evolving, and progressive force in history. There are admonitions about the divisiveness of partisan politics, prejudice, inequality. And there are solutions that show us how to bring our communities and our world family into a fair system that will make sure no one suffers. Baha'is are nonpartisan. The administrative order is a model for attainment of world peace. There is no campaigning for leadership in the institutions. There is prayerful, silent voting by the entire community of Baha'is to select those worthy of serving on the governing institutions, not by self-proclamation, but by their actions of service, knowledge, and spiritual qualities they become known.
So I'm convinced in my own mind that whenever any organization or a nation starts deviating from the true path of progress and appears to be mired in a non-progressive kind of a situation, we have to go back and look at the founding values and principles that caused the formation of that nation or organization and make sure that we are not deviating from the original values. And sometimes just coming back and bringing those values back into our midst will be the solution.
We were walking to breakfast in the morning, and there was Rabbi David and Roman Catholic Finbar leading the way. The morning sun kind of flowed through their hair and around their shoulders. I had Charlie next to me, Judith the Baha'i was behind me, the Hindu was over here, the Buddhist was there, and these guys were enjoying themselves. They were friends. And I said, oh my God, the future is already here. So there is a divine force in all that we're doing. We are still tribal. And we don't even know it. We want our side to win. So I'm kind of in this unconditional love thing, so I was thinking, well, how does everybody win? Because they say at the end, everybody wins. I said, but usually there's a loser if you win. No, when everybody is one, all will have won.
If you get far enough out, what was that song? God is watching. You are that perspective as well. If you get far enough out, you can see the dance of polarity that's happening. Right down in the subatomic structures, the electron, the neutron, and positron, and we live in creation of polarity. It's the recognition of how we need each other to create the balance of creation. Faith gives us that perspective and that freedom. We have not come this far in this great experiment in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to destroy ourselves. And this is an imaginal self. Right here. You are a part of it in this very moment.
To contact members of the Cape Cod Interfaith Coalition or for updates on our upcoming events, visit our website at capecodinterfaith.org.